Hello, everyone. Welcome to TaxExterminator.com, where we kill taxes dead. You're going to learn how to reduce your taxes legally beginning today. Hello, I'm Brent Jordan. I'll be your host today. I'm a veteran tax attorney, a former UCLA adjunct professor, and a current district court trial judge. Today's webinar is entitled The 12 Biggest Tax Mistakes That Cost Business Owners Thousands of Dollars Each Year. This webinar is based upon the following legal authorities: IRS Tax Code, United States Treasury Regulations and Tax Court Rulings, and the IRS Revenue Procedures, Private Letter Rulings, Publications, the Manual, and Tax Forms. Today's segment is entitled Missing Vehicle Deductions. Before we begin, a little bit of humor. In this particular cartoon, a police officer has pulled over someone in one of those humongous Hummers, and the officer says to the driver, "Where's the invasion?" Under missing vehicle deductions, I'm going to look at the business use of a vehicle, when a business owner can use two vehicles, and depreciation. These are three areas often overlooked by business owners. With respect to the business use of a vehicle, a business owner cannot write off the mileage of a vehicle when he or she commutes from a home to a principal place of business or office outside the home. That's a general rule. It's called the commuting to work rule. However, there are exceptions. Two exceptions. First, what the IRS terms a temporary work assignment. In other words, if a business owner drives from his or her home to a temporary work assignment, then the vehicle mileage may be written off as a deduction. Certain requirements to meet that temporary work assignment test. Also, what most business owners don't know is that by having a home office in addition to an office outside the home, which can be obtained with the IRS blessing, a business owner can obtain vehicle mileage deductions when he or she leaves his or her home for a business purpose. Now, most people know they can write off or obtain a deduction for the use of one vehicle. For example, for a particular year, a business owner says, "I've added up the miles of business, I've added up my personal miles. My business miles came out to about 70%, my personal miles 30%, and thus write off or deduct the business miles." However, with proper strategies, a business owner can drive two vehicles. For example, his own car and also at times his wife's car, and obtain a deduction far in excess of the 70%. In fact, this deduction can be as high as 150% at times, even higher theoretically. Now that's a write-off. I bet you only thought you could write off 100% of a car. In this case, 150% can be written off as a vehicle miles deduction when properly using the two vehicle strategy. Finally, the first year depreciation for vehicles varies depending on the vehicle you're driving. For 2014, a standard sedan, such as in this photograph, a BMW, a business owner is allowed up to $3,460 in a first year deduction. That same business owner driving an SUV, however, is allowed under IRS Section 179 a $25,000 first year deduction. And as you can see, the same $25,000 first year deduction is allowed in the case of vans and trucks. Now talk about tax policy. In this case, if you drive a Toyota Prius and you're helping the environment, you only obtain a $3,460 deduction. Whereas if you're driving a huge truck with a V8 engine that guzzles gas, you can obtain up to a $25,000 first year deduction. Who figures? F.J. Raymond once said, "Next to being shot at and missed, nothing is quite as satisfying as an income tax refund." There's a treasure chest of free money buried in your business. Claim it today. Well, everyone, thanks for joining me for another tax webinar, this one entitled The 12 Biggest Tax Mistakes That Cost Business Owners Thousands of Dollars each year. We've been dealing with missing vehicle deductions. I want you to join me, if you can, for the next segment entitled Missing Travel Deductions. So goodbye for now from TaxExterminator.com, home of the Proactive Tax Plan. For a limited time only, I'm giving away a free copy of my tax strategy book entitled 10 Powerful Tax Strategies That Pass IRS Scrutiny. I published the book with Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble, and you can obtain a free copy right now, today, at TaxExterminator.com.